Welcome back, my friends. This is part 2 of the two-parter that I did with my GMTs in my collection. I want to thank you, a big thank you if you watched part 1. I mean, 20 minutes of this face is just way too much, but I actually filmed over 40 minutes in that video, and I had to break it up in two because if 20 minutes is too much, then 40 minutes is really unbearable. So this is part 2. In the first video I went through all the specifications and showed you the watches, and I also filmed a lot of B-rolls and actual wrist shots and everything. But since I split the video in two, all that footage is in this video. And in this video I actually just wanted to talk to you guys about my thoughts about value, bang for the buck, brand value, brand recognition, overpricing, what you get for a certain amount of money, and what some companies don't give you and what some companies do give you. I want to talk about all of that. No specs, just me talking about the watches and showing them to you in this video. So this is part 2 of my big GMT comparison, whatever you want to call it. I'm glad you're here. Let's go. Through the years that I've been collecting, and that I've been a member of the watch community and different groups on Facebook and everywhere, I've gotten a lot of friends, and people usually and very often talk about bang for the buck and value. And when I started collecting, I also thought a lot about value and bang for the buck. What is the best value watch under $500? What is the best value under $1,000, the best specifications you can get for this amount of money? And through the years I've actually come to the conclusion for my personal collecting journey that it doesn't matter at all. And just last year I made a bunch of videos comparing Seiko to Citizen, and really in every Seiko video I talked about what you don't get from Seiko for the money. I talk about it in this video as well. But the thing is that through the years, value for me has become such a basic thing that I don't care about anymore, because the value for me is in the connection you get with the watch. I mean, the Rolex in this video, it is so ridiculously overpriced for what you get, especially if you do not get it at retail, which I didn't. But I have such a strong connection with that watch because it is my personal grail watch, and it is the watch that I really want to own for the rest of my life and cherish and give to my children when I pass away. And it has a really strong value for me and a strong connection. So the money, the cost, the fact that it is overpriced doesn't matter at all for me, because I have that connection with it. And the same in this video, I can feel a stronger connection to Nezumi, because that brand actually has a real person behind it that I've actually talked to, a person that can talk about his vision and what he wanted to create with the watch. And if you've checked out the unboxing, you can see that journey in the actual unboxing, because you get a folder. He's telling you about the journey, how the watch came to be, and you can see it in every detail of the Nezumi Aviera. That it is thought through. Maybe not the bracelet as much, but I mean the watch case. It has if you turn it on the other side, you can see the case back and the Creating Bonds logo and the little stamp on the crown. He really thought it through, and I can imagine David Campo sitting in his office sketching on the watch, really wanting to make a cool GMT, and then how it came to be. But with the Seikos and with the Rolex, but especially with the Seikos, I don't feel that connection, because with the Rolex I have the Grail connection, and with the Field GMT I feel no connection at all, because it feels like a we have a board meeting, or I don't know how they come up with the designs of the watch, but maybe let's say the design team has a board meeting. Field watches are popular, let's release a field GMT, and they just sketch it up and just release it. It has no personality in that way. The Yuto Horigome GMT is a different story because it has a small connection. I mean, if you like skateboarding, you know who Yuto is. I'm not a particular skateboarding fan, but I like it a little. I think it's a cool sport, and I have a friend who really likes skateboarding, so I have a small connection. But it's a limited edition watch. You feel a little exclusive being one of those 2,700 persons that actually owns that watch. So it gives you a small connection there, making the Yuto Horigome, just because it is a limited edition watch, it has the same movement as the field watch, the same crystal, the same kind of bracelet, the same pressed clasp bullshit clasp, but it still costs 50% more than the field GMT, just because of that, a limited edition status with the name on the back and with the fancy packaging. 50% more expensive. That's ridiculous. It's not worth it, but you still get the connection, and you still, with those small connections that they give you, you let go of the price point and think, yeah, I want that watch anyway. I hope I'm coming through to you here what I mean, because I'm just talking about value. It doesn't always have to be how much it costs, because if you connect with a watch in a certain way, the cost actually goes through the door. You don't think about it anymore. You just know that you want that watch. This is the reason I really want that watch, and I want to spend that amount of money, and no one should stop you there. If you want something, if your heart wants something, then just go get it and buy what you want, enjoy what you want, and live your own life, I guess. And by the way, friends, if you want to buy any of the Seikos that I have in this video and so many more, you have to head over to Stjärnormakarna. They don't really have a website that you can order from. That's why I'm going to hit you with the Ando's number right here and his email address. You can just hit him up with a call or an email, and he'll hook you up with possibly any Seiko that you want. They are a premium Seiko retailer here in Sweden. They're in the town that is really close to my town. It's in Kalmar, and it's a wonderful, wonderful staff. Andos is really, really good on the customer service and a really nice guy. So if you want to buy a Seiko, buy it from him. If you mention my channel when you buy the watch, he will give you a 15% discount on any Seiko in his store. So give Andos a call, say hello from me, and he'll give you a nice discount. Yeah, and bang for the buck. I don't think you can get a lot of bang for the buck with the big brands today, because both Seiko and Rolex, in this particular example, you're paying for the brand. You can try to convince yourself otherwise, but you are paying for the brand. I mean, with Rolex, you're paying a ridiculous amount for the brand, but they are the strongest brand on the watch market. And with Seiko, you're also paying a lot of money for the brand. But with brands like Nezumi and other Microbrand watches, you're actually paying nothing for the brand, because the brand isn't anything particular. If you say the name Nezumi to someone in your close to some of your friends or to a person on the street, they will not know what that is. So the brand has no recognition and no value in itself. And that's why I think you actually get most bang for your buck when buying Microbrand watches, and especially when buying the Chinese homage Microbrand watches like San Martin, Pagani Design, Chronos. Those types of watches, they give you bang for the buck. No, not much originality, none at all in most cases, but bang for the buck you get, because you usually get a well-trusted movement inside of the watch. Usually it's actually a Japanese Seiko movement, sometimes it's Chinese, but when you're comparing, like we are in this video today, 3 watches with the same Seiko movement within them, and you see what you get extra in the Nezumi and what you don't get in the Seikos, you start to think about value. And yeah, But the other point was, I don't care about value, but if you care about value, that's the way to go, in my honest opinion. Maybe Microbrands. But the caveat here is, when you're selling a Microbrand watch, you're losing a lot of money, and when you're buying a Seiko, you can usually get a discount directly from the retailer, like 20-25% discount on almost any Seiko that I know. And yeah, you can't usually get discounts on the Microbrand watches, not with these truly, I mean, you can get a lot of discounts on the homage watches, but I'm talking about the smaller Microbrand brands like Nezumi, like Zelos. They're usually sold out quickly, made in a smaller batch. Getting a discount is kind of hard, but selling them, you actually lose a lot of money, because there's no, I mean, the people that know the brand, they are not as many as the people that know the large brands. So selling a Zelos or a Nezumi, I think it's a little bit more difficult than selling a Seiko. If you have the right channels, if you know the right people, you can sell them rather quickly. But if you don't, I mean, if you just post a Nezumi Aviera in your local marketplace group, not a lot of people will know what that is. And not a lot of people will want to buy it because they don't know what it is. But if you post a Seiko in your local marketplace selling group, a lot of people know what Seikos are, and a lot of people want to buy Seikos, and a lot of people want to buy used Seikos. Yeah, you take a dip in value, but you can usually sell the watch pretty quickly. Yeah, that's a rant. That's a rumbly thought about the value of watches. The thing I can't really understand, and this is a long one, so you'll have to give me some time here. The thing I can't understand is I've always imagined that if you have a big brand, like Seiko, for example, one of the largest, most popular watch brands in the world, and if you produce a lot of watches in a mass quantity, that should mean, and if you sell a lot of those watches, that should mean that you could either keep the prices down and actually give people an affordable bang for the buck watch, or you can jack the prices up and give them less that they would have gotten from a lesser known brand, just because of the brand, and it's because the brand is famous and popular. And I think that Seiko these last 5 to 10 years have actually climbed that ladder, that they're actually offering you less than they did before, because they are a popular brand and because they have that branding. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's, I guess, I'm not a businessman, but I guess that's just good business. You have a strong brand and people are buying your brand and paying for it. I mean, money talks, so you can jack up the prices and people keep paying for it, and you can cut back on some things that you might consider to be standard things in the price class, like sapphire crystals. You can cut back on those things because people are still buying it. Fanboys are still proclaiming that Rolex is better than sapphire anyway. And yeah, but what I don't get is, in my mind, a watch like the Nezumi Aviera from a Microbrand, a Swedish Microbrand, a watch designed in Sweden, hand assembled in Germany. Sure, it has some Chinese parts, it has a Japanese movement, but you could claim that Seiko also have a bunch of Chinese parts maybe, and they're all assembled in Indonesia or whatever. And you'd think that the Nezumi, producing a smaller quantity of watches, hand assembling them in Germany, designing them in Sweden, giving you a sapphire crystal and giving you a full milled steel clasp, giving you a better water resistance, you might think that that watch would cost more in my logical mind, because it's a smaller quantity, better quality, more features from a smaller brand. You might think that it would cost more, but it doesn't. So the Seikos in this video cost more than a watch that is simply, if you're talking about the specifics, a better watch. with the same movement, but it's still a better watch because you have the sapphire, you have the full milled bracelet, full milled clasp, you have the better water resistance, you have the better warranty. So yeah, that's just strange to me. That's all for today, folks. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and as usual with my videos, I guess you've learned nothing because I'm not here to teach anything. I'm just here to give you my opinions. So if you liked one of these 4 watches, please let me know which one did you like the most. Write me a comment. I would love to read your thoughts about these 4 guys. Any thoughts about value, any thoughts about sapphire crystal versus Rolex, please write them down. I'm really excited to read your thoughts. And as usual, if you liked the video, consider giving it a thumbs up. That means a lot to me. And if you loved the video, which I really hope that you did, please consider subscribing. That means even more to me. Oh, sorry. And if you didn't like the video, give me a thumbs down. Tell me what you didn't like, and I'll try to do better until the next one. And until I see you again, my friend, I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.